Good evening, folks. Welcome in the ring to each and every one of you. Hope you guys are good and well. Let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear. Got so many things to share with you folks right now. Hold it back one more time. Good to have all of you. Wherever you're joining us from, welcome, welcome, welcome in the ring. 400 of you on the live already. Edward, Avril, Eula, Desmond. Good to have all of you. Michelle, good to have you too. Yanet, Rena, Finel. Good to have each and every one of you on the live, good folks. Yep, that one is for you. 500 and counting. Sharon Griffith, good to have you. Stacey Ann Laverne, Mrs. Cummins, good to have each and every one of you folks on the live. It's such an evening. Happy and delighted to have all of you here. Please and thank you. Good to see you. Another evening, folks, and you all with us. Who could ask some more? You're going to be screaming and glutton. Once you all here, we good. Stacey Ann, Avril, Edward, little boy. Good to have you on too. Veronica. These are some of the names, Not Veronica so much at all. Little boy. Good to have you, Nia, Godfrey, and all the other folks joining us tonight. It's a privilege. It's a privilege. We hope that you guys are good. I was come with y'all, man. Shucks. We gotta do some town halls, Folks. We gotta do some town halls and come closer to you folks. What say you? What say you? We got to put this thing on the road. We edging down to this campaign season. It's not easy, I want you all to understand that. We know Rasta don't understand. Rastas overstand. I want you all to understand that. This thing is not easy at all. You got to get some stick-to-itiveness. You think them boys coming heavy now? Wait till them boys get real into this thing. We get closer. You're going to see some stunts like you never see stunts before. You're going to see all kind of mechanicians beyond this world. They're already trying a couple of things. You got to get past to go in a NDC, a neighborhood Democratic Council area. Y'all understand where we're going? This is season. And with each passing day, things tend to get a little more crazy. Just a little bit. This is season. General and regional elections. I know some folks would wish we were farther along. Some folks, but the old hymn tells us, you'll know all about it farther along. You'll understand why. We had to come the way we came. Good folks, but we can't look at that. We got things to do. We'd love to, I see there's a renewed call for a coalition. But don't let us detain us. It could happen before nomination. We got to go. But don't let us detain us from going on the ground and talking to people. Telling them the good news, putting boots on the ground and all of that stuff. Folks, we don't happen in a year. It's happening a day, I want you all to understand that. So think it not strange when you see certain things happening. But don't happen in a day, it's happening in a year. I'm thankful for Ronald Austin Jr., who today reminded us about a teneth in international relations. That you ain't got no permanent enemies, you ain't got no permanent friends. You only got what? Let's test y'all. Let's see how sharp y'all be. No permanent enemies, Tandy Nelson, Troy, Lily, Horace, Marlin. No permanent friends. Naturally, we good. Who we Spirit Tech is who we like. Penelope, Puran. I ain't like Norton. I ain't like this buddy. I ain't like that buddy. No permanent enemies. No permanent friends. Only permanent. I got to get some quizzes for y'all, Make sure we stay sharp. Only permanent interest. Thank you, Mark. Mark on the ball. Mark firing. Mark, come to the front of the class. Only permanent interest is what you want. What you side asking for. What is it? That's why I'm telling you, I wouldn't feel bad if the Judases just go, run out. The only constant in life, Heraclitus told us, is change. So rock and come in. Folks, we're happy to have you on. wherever you're joining us from. As I said, Ronald Austin reminded us when we saw quite recently the new Syrian interim president. I thought Bashar al-Assad would never go. I had to Google to be reminded. We saw Trump today meeting with the interim president of Syria, a man who was imprisoned, detained by the U.S., sanctioned by the U.S. No permanent enemies, no permanent friends, only interest. You understand that? You got a problem, You will see the shifting sands of politics, and you got no issue, people dancing between the raindrops, and you got no story because you understand the rules of the game, the principles. And say shift quick, you little snake. You scoundrel, you cutthroat. It is what it is. That comes with it too. You backstabber you. So here is Trump today, the opener. We'll take it as the opener. Trump meeting today, folks, as I said, with the interim Syrian president, and you'll hear it. There's a commentary for me. The opener tonight, folks, is the commentary for me. So please, folks, be reminded, no permanent enemies, share the damn life. No permanent friends. Right? There's no permanent whom a spirit tech. The opener.
It's important. No, and I'm not trying to be glib, Karis. What I mean by that is, look, just to put this in context, Ahmed al-Sharaa is a man who had been arrested by U.S. military forces back in 2006. I think he spent time 5 years in U.S. Army detention centers, including Abu Ghraib. This is how far this man has come. So arrested a little less than 20 years ago, spent 5 years in U.S. detention centers, still a man who he led an organization now dissolved, the HTS, which had been on the U.S. designated as a U.S. terrorist organization, technically still on that list. A man that just a few months ago had a $10 million bounty on his head before it was dropped by the Biden administration because a top U.S. diplomat at the time said that he had shown good intentions and was making the right noises about wanting to have a government that was more inclusive, that respected minority rights. Everyone was still like in a wait-and-see posture. And you go from that just a few months ago to Donald Trump sitting there, albeit for what the White House called just a say-hello meeting, a quick meet and greet, not a deep dive, but just the optics of having Donald Trump sitting with this president for both the U.S. and the world. Those images of them sitting there, however brief those comments, that encounter, it sends a message to the world that Syria right now is being given, as Donald Chan said, a chance for great success. It's back in the good graces of the United States. It has the green light. That's going to potentially bring a lot of other investors and countries back into Syria that had held Syria still at bay, kept a wide berth because the U.S. had kept these crippling sanctions on. And they came in stages, remember, right? They started obviously in 2011 in several stages when the Arab Spring uprising broke out, followed by the horrible repression by the Assad regime. They were ramped up several years later in 2019. Something called the Caesar Act made it actually a cry for anyone who actually aided the government of the then Syrian president Bashar Assad. Anyone. It was really notably targeting Russia and Iran, Syria's closest allies, but any other country, they would also be subject to crippling sanctions. So this Caesar Act was like the tightening the screws after the previous very crippling sanctions in 2011. The fact they're all presumably lifted now, and you have Ahmed Sharaa, he does have reason, him, to celebrate. This is a giant day for him and his vision, if he is sincere about it, his vision of a new Syria that is an inclusive one.
A giant day. That's the opener, folks. That's the opener, a giant day for Ahmed Sharaa. Giant day, sanctions lifted. What don't happen in a day, folks? In a year, happens in a day. That was unfathomable just a couple of days ago. And here we are, sanctions lifted. Green light, investors coming in. No permanent enemies, no permanent friends, only permanent interests. Isn't that a beautiful thing, brothers and sisters? Isn't that a beauty? I started slow tonight. Slow tonight as we come in for landing. Want to say happy birthday to a fantastic fellow. Fantastic fellow. There's not a lot of us living to see 100. And if you live to see 30, you're in good times. 100 years old. Please and thank you. Fella looking fresh. Fella looking fresh. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sylvanus McKend, or Mackend. 100 years old today. Could we give our boy Sylvanus a shout out? Please and thank you. Could we give our boy Sylvanus a shout out? 100 years old, folks. Should we be so lucky? You know, still firing. The sight reasonable. You know, the sight reasonable. Everything got in them place. But you're still firing, Mandy, Paulette, Avril, Leonard, Sylvanus McKend, 100 years old. He's a boss. Happy birthday, Chief. Sylvanus is a boss. All you hear me is a boss. B-O-S-S, boss. 100. You can imagine the things Sylvanus see. The experiences he's had. The shifting sands. The interest that he's seen. Had no permanent enemies. No permanent friends. Sylvanus will stand up here, you know. You got to do a couple things right in your life. So you see 100, good health and strength, a family that loves you. You got to do a couple things right. Sylvanus in your skin. Sylvanus in your skin. Folks, you know, we got to sit in the National Assembly coming up on Friday. I'm told you might have a motion concerning Venezuela. Oh, you can hear all the lofty things Friday. Oh, we love the opposition. We're all one. One Guyana. Go opposition. Go opposition. We love y'all. To get you to sign on to the thing. To get you to sign on. 24th of May, I believe it is. That dastardly election by the Venezuelan, saying that they're appointing governors, or what have you, deputies over our Essequibo. The gall. The gall. Is he afraid they want me to Maduro? He didn't walk away from Maduro, you know. It's reporters recently. We saw the Jagabat walking away from him. No, he carried gifts to Maduro, gold band and black cake and rum. $500,000 rum. You can build a house for somebody with that. No, they give Maduro for fatting he now. For he come, say he appointing governors. I mean, how silly and how foolish could you be? Huh? How silly and how foolish. Well, while that is happening, 24th, I think they come with a motion for Parliament on Friday for support. Yes. That's the only time you see them, you know, when they want something. We got to stop this political prostituting. That's the only time they pick up the phone and they call you. Oh, give me a little support, you know. Let me show you his one. You know, you can't bother with them, you know. You can't bother with them too much. And so that's happening perhaps on Friday, and you got this fake, fraudulent election slated for the 24th. We know that's of no effect. But as we head up to that, I saw them boys, you know, laying out, as it were. You know, we got a new plane, folks. That's what I really want to see. Tying myself up, just trying to see that. We got a new plane, folks. Venezuela, y'all better watch your damn selves now. You know? It's not about how big it is, you know. It's what you could do with it. You better ask some people that know. It's not how big it is. It's what you do with the thing. Please and thank you. So I'm happy we are recapitalizing and so on. Kitty Kata, but we're moving. That's the important thing. You know, even if it's in inches, we're moving. So they're telling us, folks, the Ghana Defense Force, our Ghana Defense Force, they've accepted this, they call it a new Technum aircraft, as part of the Air Corps recapitalization and modernization program. Venezuela, I take that. Take that. According to the notation, you must put these things bigger for me. I'm begging you. The aircraft's technical records and operational capabilities were thoroughly examined today during the ground and in-flight demonstrations, with all systems meeting required standards. Yep. They said this aircraft, its performance is expected to enhance the GDF's capability, you're listening here, to operate in remote and unserved regions. Yeah, take that. Take that. It's not how big the thing is. I thought we'd notice by now. It's how you could use it. You see? So y'all better take note, Venezuela. You better take note. We ain't taking this sitting down. We preparing ourselves. Congrats to the GDF. We hope we put it to good use and all the capabilities and so on is employed. You know, they bring one the other that never fly. That's the other story. Whatever happened to that one that we got from India? We heard never fly, but that's another story for another show, perhaps. We gotta examine that. We need a whole hour. That by itself. They bring generators, they ain't working. They buy pumps, they ain't pumping. That's the thing to vex people. You want pumper, you can't pump because the pump is working. Government's fault for simple things like that, you know. Simple things like that. But we want to say congrats to the GDF. Put it to good use. Put it to good use. And I have no doubt. Servicemen and women, they're going to put that to good use. Taking my time and massaging y'all tonight. So that's one of the things I wanted to draw to attention. We have a new addition. Please. And I'm happy to have read that they tested it on the ground and in flight. Don't wait until the day. You know what we need? We need like a military parade. The way Russia did it the other day, and you know, the way Trump want to do it. You know, bring out everything. No. Big parade, try to instill some patriotism in us and so on. God knows we need a good dose of patriotism. A good dose. Even though the things are rough and tough, sometimes you want to be someplace else. A good dose. Bring out everything. How are y'all doing? Good to have all of you on the live. Heaven Faith, lovely Lily, Rohan and Lynn McDonald, and all the other folks who are joining us tonight, Rena, Lynette, Maxine, Sonia, and all the other folks. Good to have you all on the live tonight. Well, back just for y'all. Again, one of the things we thought we ought to bring to your attention this evening, folks, as we examine the things that have perhaps occurred over the last 48 hours. That being said, you know, they have this Caribbean Commissioners of Police conference happening in Georgetown over the last 3 days. What's today, the last day? I won't give myself the liberty, but over the last 3 days, continue today. You know, I saw the Commissioner of Police at a function last night. My Lord. Sartorially, Sartorially, Leroy, I know you put out yourself better. Come on. Leroy. Grumpy Leroy. I know you put out yourself thing. Come on now. Let me pull yourself together. So we have this very, very important conference happening. This is the conference, folks, where Irfan spoke about the hit list. President of a whole country talk about a hit list. The beliefs and outgoing Commissioner of Police, Chief, I can't carry hit list back home. You're on the right track, but how you package it? You know, you're the Irfan package wrong. Irfan package wrong. He's been coming out all the wrong times. Rapper. Hit list. Jesus. We gotta put together. It's not difficult. A compilation of Irfan's greatest hits. You know, but we were always so busy. We were always as we go through the year, we think at the end of the year we can do like a stretched out magazine with these clowns. Irfan's greatest hits came out and oh man. Folks, we might, somebody might recognize Irfan change, From when Irfan started this journey in 2020, Irfan different now. You put some photographs side by side. Now, who's this? Who's this other fellow here that critics side by the table talk about 19 fraud charges? Here, people talk about transformation in this country is not the physical state of the country. It's Irfan self. One day from gray, like Silver Fox. Next day, jet black. You pass you straight. You're looking for Silver Fox, you'd be like, So, national transformations happening. So we wanted to point out that this conference is happening. Now, yesterday on the apron of this conference, a couple of folks went out and protested the justice for Adriana Young. Justice. It's a good call. A strong call. And the police harassing the folks. A couple of folks braved the rain. We were on here with you, telling you about the protests and, about some other issues too. Brave the rain. And say congrats to them. It takes fortitude with a couple of you standing in the rain and, the police try to get you up, down, and so on. That's how they want to do. Yeah. Before they go and solve some more serious matters, and so give attention rather to some more serious matters. They're harassing our brothers and sisters from the Alliance for Change. I saw the chairman of the Alliance for Change, David Patterson, there, and he commented on some of that. And this commissioner of police that we got, past the age of retirement and still, David Patterson, chairman of the Alliance for Change.
There are some good policemen. There are some policemen that follow orders. Then there are obviously people that we think that should not be here. That's why we're out here protesting. It's free speech. Amazing. I heard American ambassador say yesterday, that she will welcome protesters, but in Guyana they don't. So that just tells you how it is. The American ambassador said she doesn't mind anybody even protesting ministry, the embassy, but in Guyana we can't even do that. We can't make enough protest in front of express our rights, express discuss in the way they're handling the young. And for Jonas, the guy from Linden who is not being charged, we can't even express how we feel about these things without being stopped by the police. But in the end, justice will prevail. Take a good look at our commissioner. Take a good look at that and look at him. Yeah, boy, and see what he's see how he's performing, reading newspapers, and sure they read on social media, so that we can actually see what's happening here. Come on. In no other country, none of those commissioners are there are retired. None of them are past the age of retirement and then still on the job. So he should be ashamed of himself to still be on the job when he's past the age of retirement, stopping all good young policemen who've been waiting for ages to get the position. He's squatting there in the position and not doing a good job. You could understand if he was an excellent commissioner, you could say fair enough. You want to keep him there to train the younger persons next in line and those things like that, but sadly he's not doing a good job. We think that it's time to get that down. He should step down, particularly now during this period when the country is calling for justice.
Past the age of retirement and still holding on. Still holding on. All the things we know about the police force, all the shortcomings, all the infraction. What is the attraction? Irfan Ali, what is the attraction? Again, chairman of the Alliance for Change, David Patterson, making the arguments there. Like, what is it? What is it? So David, I'm reminded how much I was pulling for this coalition. Haven't given up hope totally. As I said when we started, we still got some space. We still got some margins to work with, but let's see what happens. I saw a lot of folks a renewed call. German Forgear, I think I saw some allusions to that by Ronald Austin Jr. and some other folks. Right? With some other folks. Let's see what happens, folks. Let's see what happens. We're going down to the wire. Going down to the wire here. And let's see how things turn, Lots happening, folks. Lots happening. And some of it, when you look at it and you think upon it, you internalize, you ponder, you muse upon it. My Lord. You want about this government every time. They said they care. They come and sit down on chair. The farmers told us in Esquibo. But they don't care. They don't care. When I listened to Attorney General Anil Nandlall, read some of the reports of what he said in his program on Tuesday night, I said, what? What? You know, I remember something. Politicians, we never talk with people's children and so on. I don't, people's family off limits and so on. But I remember, because it's public record, that's why I can discuss this. I remember he was in Parliament one night and somebody was talking long or, something, and he was agitated. He said, look, I want to go home to my son, yeah? Y'all hurry up. I said, wow. Now, I got 3 sons. Why should be saying, I want to go home to my son, y'all hurry up there. I say that to say, he's a father. He's a father. Adriana Young wasn't cattle. Right? We have a son who's turning 10 in December. 10. Just saw him in a spelling bee competition, His school got 2nd place. They're discovering the world, discovering language, making friends. People got dreams for the children. Adriana Young wasn't cattle. She was somebody's daughter. May not have been our friend, may not have been our neighbor, but she had a community that loved her. Our children, any better? I know a man like Anil Nandlall. He would walk to some places for his child. Especially a child that you got late. I got kids big too. I was 28 when I had my first kid. I think that's still big by local standards. At one time I used to question myself, but I just needed to get up the mark. 3 sons later, I feel for that family. Take your time. You need to hurry. And then you'll hear him say, I'm pronouncing anything, but he pronouncing at the same time. We got to be careful here, And that's why, you don't talk about people's kids and family, because this world is a cycle, And I feel like the PPs forget when they went in opposition. Like they think it was 50 years ago. Was a hop and a skip. A moment of love ago, to pull a line from a Martin Carter poem. A moment of love ago. So let us be empathetic. Let us put ourselves in other people's shoes. You had an 11-year-old and then you didn't. And people said, just move on. Just move. You ain't gotta get close. Just move on. We got country to run. What's the matter with y'all? What? Be careful. I've lived these short years and lived enough to know when the table turn, sometimes it's turned hard, Sometimes it's turned hard. We better be careful in this country. We better be very, very careful. So I took exception to that. A man with a young child, we got to talk different. This thing has shook this country. What the hell are you telling me? Parents hold the kids a little closer. Soon as you miss the child, wait there. People who want to go creek. No more, much more pool. And I think they're so dead emotionally. They could not be in touch with the pulse of this country and act like this. On the 24th, I told y'all by now, I was on the bridge after the morning show, heading over to lend support. When I heard body in the pool, I said, what kind of miracle is this? Body in the pool. 5 searches later, body in the pool. It's like, I feel like Flintstones. I feel like picking up the car and run with it. Right? I feel like stopping the car at the bridge, plunge over and swim the rest. The car can't meet fast enough. Body in the pool. So what? I gotta go and see this miracle. And as we got on the ground there, I'll never forget, there were 3 Indian women sitting on a horse cart. Right? Minus the horse. It was parked in the corner. They're sitting on the horse cart. They saw camera in hand and so on. They signaled to me, come over. So I gone, I said hello and so on. And, you know, they say, it's media? We say, yes. They said, it's time. What happening to these people here at this hotel? Happening to them. They're doing it too long. But you know what happened? The people want the kind of cohesion minus them, you know. This Indian and black and Amerindian, this thing shook this country together. Shook us. I ain't recovered yet. And I think long after Adriana is in the ground and bombed, whatever course her family chooses, we'll have to get counseling as a nation. That's how this thing has shaken us. And you want to use words loosely. I see some people, the trolls and the bots, making some commentary. Oh, don't even say that in jest. I have never ever wished anybody ill health. You know, they should get knocked down, they should dead, and we may go with differences, but to God. To God. But the callousness in this government, the callousness in them. But we've seen this point in their governance before. In the last iteration of the PPP, it took them 23 years to get to where they are. But social media, everything is instant now. You don't gotta wait 3 weeks to get something by newspaper. Instantly. Let us be careful. And that's what catching up with them, you know. They can't respond fast enough. And one of the critical failings of the PPP, one of the critical failings is the man in the middle. He alone want to talk for everybody. Nobody else can respond because they said the dunces they got. Right? They said got a set of dunces. So you gotta wait till Thursday. He knows if he comes before that, if he does a little mini sit down with boredness, murkiness, murkiness, you get the sense that they're being taken off the game. So you gotta bear with chief now and wait till tomorrow. He can't deal with everything. He's Houdini. Human beings can't deal with everything. That's why there's such a proliferation of the use of artificial intelligence. Such a proliferation of it. AG, be careful. Be careful. He waded into this issue on his program about a second autopsy. Waded into it. Oh, he has not a thing, you know, as not a autopsytician, has not. But those who have spoken with, I don't want to pronounce on this matter, but those who have, Father, have his mercy. Let us be careful, brothers and sisters, how we treat with these very, very sensitive matters. This girl wasn't chattel and she wasn't cattle. This was somebody's 11-year-old. And now every birthday, every Christmas, every Easter, right, a pail and a pall will fall over that family if it ever lifts. If it ever lifts. And all they want is a thorough investigation. And what you see in broad daylight, they want to take lampstick for look from nighttime. They know the whole thing in this country, top to bottom. It has been their lived experience. Be careful. Right? DAG, on the matter of the second autopsy and some allied issues.
3 pathologists of international standing were brought in by the government after the president promised a comprehensive, objective investigation. That investigation has begun. It has been temporarily put on hold because the family had initially asked that the funeral be allowed to take place. The funeral was, after it was initially planned, was abruptly postponed. Politicians by that time had inveigled themselves already into the whole matrix, and they continue, in my humble view, to manipulate the situation. I was saying before I diverted that 3 pathologists of international standing, of high reputation, were brought into the country by the government and conducted a forensic examination, witnessed by representatives of the family, including doctors, lawyers, doctor, a lawyer, and relatives of the family. They made their pronouncements. Persons who are not at all qualified to contradict them have done so and are doing so in the public domain. A nurse aide emerged from the wilderness and professed to be present in the room at the behest of the Minister of Health. Later, she confessed that she was not there, and this disclosure of hers regarding her presence in the room was a creation of her own imagination. Very fertile mind, I must say.
Yeah. That's the AG for you. I know a lot of things there. This was just Tuesday, you know. I didn't realize the investigation was on pause because of the burial. I thought they said the gentleman was here from Canada assisting the Guyana police force and that the investigation was ongoing. So that was news to me that the investigation paused because Adriana not being interred, why would that hinder an investigation from moving forward? Nicola, Betsy, Mandy, Cecilia, why would that hinder? And I heard that the nurse aide, number 2, was remanded, but he is now adding another dimension. There's a confession, and it was all a fiction. Why would a nurse do that? Why would a nurse do that to a random taxi? Why? So clearly he has the inside track. You all heard that before? Oh, there's a confession. It's all fiction. A guilty. I make it all up. She was in a private conversation. She wasn't in a live. The little Dutchaks she was talking to, he recorded it and published it. He on bail. And the nurse who was telling him this story, she's remanded. The AG now says that she confessed to you. Whole thing is a fiction. The whole thing is a fiction. Folks, we've seen this government. We have seen this government. You see? We saw confession. We saw people pull back confessions when pressure was brought to bear. You remember the government flats in Campbellville? In Chalabar, I think it is. You remember the government flats? The girl couldn't tell you the color, knew the place top to bottom as though she'd built it. You remember that? And when they took her there in the morning, she could have said the place recently paint over. things were moved around. You remember that? We had a confession, but we know what could happen when pressure is brought to bear. We know. And that is why they don't want to operationalize the Whistleblowing Act. Primarily why? Because they'd have a duty now as a state to protect. They'd have a duty. The man said he didn't do nothing, but Aragon resigned still. The minister that was ensnared in the Chalabar, I ain't do nothing, I'm innocent. But I can resign. Right? The girl gave a detailed when she was picked up, dropped off, dashed on the bed, spun around. But we knew that. There wasn't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instances before. And then, serendipitously, I want to move furthermore. We've seen all of that. We've seen this movie before. Same thing people said about Doubleday. This is not the first, second, third, fourth time. That is what the ladies told us is good for them. We tired of this nonsense. And we saw a genuine moment of one Guyana of social cohesion. Guyanese bonded together in tragedy. And this government didn't like that. This government didn't like that. And they have done everything to break the back of that kind of coming together. The wicked, the stink, and the dirty. We've seen enough. We have forgotten. Because it might got a 3-4 months in between all of these scandals. We may have forgotten the High Commission in Delhi, right? The man who was straight dog took out. He still say yes. He still saying yes. The man from Delhi turned contractor now. The man turned contractor now. You think them boys easy? And he, the Attorney General, another autopsy would be of little value. I won't pronounce on this thing. I don't want to pronounce on it, Don Caesar. But I was made to understand by my little knowledge of autopsies and what I was told by those who know, this thing would be of little value. The state of the body, and they want Adriana in the ground. They want her in the ground. Her being above ground affects them. You see? They want to go to Region 3. Oh, but it itches the skin every time they got to pass Doubleday. They want her in the ground. So that we can go back to the status quo. We can go back to how things were. That's what they want. And then Adriana Young becomes another statistic. What we got against youth in this country? Huh? What we got against youth? We see the facade. 3 years ago, they had a big fanfare at the National, the Arthur Chung Conference Center. They were installing a youth advisory committee policy, something. Never functioned a day. Never submitted a report. Never, they got no time with youth. So Adriana Young, they want her to join the 20 in the Mahdia female dormitory fire. Let's add her to that list. People got blood on their hands, Guyanese brothers and sisters. They want her to join Harris Singh. The PPP got blood on their hands, Guyanese brothers and sisters. They want her to join Joel and Isaiah Henry. The PPP got blood on their hands, Guyanese, and so many other young people. You hear die mysteriously You hear die from dengue. Brother one day, sister the next. Adriana Young's contemporary. We selling the children, you know, because them boys want hold on to power. Gypsy sing it years ago. Somebody thieving the soul of this nation. Somebody gone with the love that we had. Protesters denounced the killing of Adriana Young between the 23rd and 24th, stood with that family, and the days prior, united in grief. Something got to unite us. And Guyanese from all walks of life put aside politics and all that and say, we stand up here, them family. Them boys start getting frightened. Start getting frightened. They want Irfan generate that kind of unity through one guy. Never happen. Right? Never happen. The lyricist say, oh, your wedding bells don't chime. Never happen. That can't happen naturally like that. And you have blood in your hands, and you want to unite people with bloody hands. So how much cheering of a dead? Them cheering on the ballot. Isaiah and Joel Henry on the ballot. I saw them circulate the order paper for Parliament, the agenda for Parliament. That motion we put in that order paper, September 7th, I think it was, in that space of time, 2020. We wanted to talk about Isaiah and Joel Henry. That motion is still on the order paper. Because the PPP don't want to confront it. The same way they don't want to confront what truly happened to Adriana Young. Right? It sears their conscience. The skin starts scratching. When they got to discuss it, they got blood in their hand. But I don't expect them again to feel any different for Adriana Young than they would have felt for Saturday or so. I don't expect them. If a man that served with them could be slaughtered with his family, the people killed the dog and never got an investigation, never got a COI out of his own government. How these boys can tell me they love me? Come over, Sherrod. We care on this side. Oh, you better understand in the PPP, when they patch in your back, it's the soft spot, the feeling of a plunge dagger. If you couldn't do a comprehensive investigation for Saturday or so, who blood still cries out for justice, is Adriana Young, you're going to do goodbye? That y'all don't know. That is why they can talk the way they talk. But I like where they are, in a sense, because this is where they are when they're about to fall. Total confusion, total confunction nonsense. They are a wicked government, sanctimonious, the real sanctimonious gangsters. That is this administration, and that is this regime. That is this regime. Irfan is my friend. I knew him long. He's a nice guy. Investigate the murder Saturday you saw, and let the chips fall where they may. If you can give Saturday you saw all your own Minister of Justice is Adriana, surprise me. Surprise us. Surprise us. And let justice prevail. While you're stymieing, asking the call for the FBI, why are you stymieing a second autopsy? Is you child cutting open? Is you paying for the dead? You paying for the doctor? What is it? What is it? You hear the Attorney General said, and they suddenly canceled the funeral like he had things to do, and they somehow got in his way. And the investigation was stalled. Father, have mercy on them. Father, have mercy on them. They're in a terrible place. They're in a terrible spot. Terrible spot. And that's why I saw GKH Lal made some comments. He said this whole cesspool of decay, if you got own it, the only one talk about roads and bridges. Right? The only one talk about roads and bridges. Quantity, not the quality. Once it built, not the quality of the social fabric the next generation inherit in this country. Do not let us let Adriana Young die in vain. Don't let me do it. Don't let us do it. You see? Look at the country we got. Police thieving cocaine that gets seized. That's the cesspool. That is the cesspool that JKH Lal talked about. Police being remanded. The thing is like an oxymoron. Or an oxymoron, depends on which school you went to. The two things are in contention with each other. Police on remand. You know, police is being instrumental in putting other people on remand. Cocaine disappear, flower appear. But this is a transformational government. Yeah, they're doing the kind of voodoo. Turning cocaine into flour. You see. That's what they're doing. Dengue outbreak in Region 6. They got on hush hush. Dengue outbreak. See? The ARC just wake up and realize that Irfan Chef Friend sing a song last year that everybody done listen to 500 times. The ARC just, you know it's election when the ARC wake up. You know it's election when the ARC wake up. For the next 24 hours or 48, you can hear about mental health. You know, mental health. We've been in that period. I said the crazy people in the PvP, you know. You gotta stop them up with some stelazine, but try to bring them back. I said the crazy people, you know. That's why this country being led, this country drifting. This country drifting. This like, you remember the boat that they're going, how fast it says 0 nautical miles? Without the engine, dead people, we couldn't find it. They feel right at home in the kind of scenario. Couldn't find it. That's us. We drifted. Right? We drifting. So this is snapshot. The last 24, 48 hours. Right? Some of y'all should be happy. I know you guys shop Timo and Shein and so on. They said the US is bring down the tariff. And those small imports, you know, you buy a little dress and your thing and so on. Shein, I know that's a big one. My wife talks with Shein all the time. You know, I said, who's this lady? Shein. Then I realize this. You know, it's a company. You hear Shein so much. Right? And then the UN said they got some concerns about Venezuelans being held in El Salvador, the mega prison there, and the human rights abuses. TNT Top Cup just off a suspension 2 days ago. You know, sent on leave. She's had some extensions to her tenure, but sent on a cumulative leave. I think she got about 60 something days. First female commissioner of police for Trinidad and Tobago. And them boys and give you easy time. But at least you could see the semblance of a system. I ain't want to talk about the term for Trinidad. I know they got their own problems too. But you can see the semblance of a system working in Trinidad and Tobago. You know, the semblance of a system. Let's leave it there tonight, folks. Let's leave it there. And let us be careful in our callousness, in our hard-heartedness, Let us be careful, right? That the things we wish and others didn't come back and we do a step, And when things happen to you, then you people say, hey, is that the same what they said just the other day? They are no but valid votes, and sir. Is there anything that they're in the box? Folks, we're drawing closer, and y'all can see some stunts. Y'all can see some stunts they're trying, like this stunts about who could go to which NDC and all kinds of nonsense. I saw even a Tushau saying that his signature was forged. How much time y'all got? A Tushau has come out and say he saw his signature on a letter among other Tushaus saying that that Azudin Mohammed cannot come into their village on their reserve. The man has come out and say his signature was forged. Who gonna investigate him? Who on that? Forgery is an offense. Impersonation is an offense. The Tushau said they forged his signature. Who got a court step for that? The sanctimonious gangsters, the real ones, PPP. Check them out, PPP. That's our time, folks. And that's our program. Thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. In the thousands, we got about 4,200 persons on with us right now, folks. Thank you so much. 2,500 plus on YouTube. 1,500 plus, folks. Means a lot to us. That's our time, good folks. And that's our program. Stay safe. Stay safe.